Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes only and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Stinson Amir Brown. Brown was shot in the arm and lower back and died on July 18, 2009. He was shot in the 4200 block of West Don Felipe Drive in Baldwin Hills, according to LA County Coroner records. Pierre Andre White was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. On the night of July 17, 2009, Stinson Brown went to a pool party at a home on Don Tapia Place in Baldwin Hills with Kevin Riven, Jordan Valent, Derica Johnson, and Tatiana Jacobs. Riven drove the group to the party. Johnson testified there was a group of young men outside the party location who may have been Bloods, had a gun, and looked like they might cause trouble, but there were no problems at the party. Brown's group all left together at around 10:30 p.m. and walked back to Riven's car. Riven drove about a block, then parked the car. Riven, Valent, and Brown got out of the car and ran back up the hill toward the location of the party to check on their friends. Johnson and Jacobs remained in the car. Brown returned to the car after a few minutes. He was joking and did not appear frightened. Stinson Brown worked to fix the handle on the rear passenger door, which had fallen off. Brown kneeled while fixing the handle, and when he finished, he stood between the open front passenger door and the car body facing the car. Just as Brown finished repairing the door handle, a group of 5 young men, including the defendant, walked downhill past Riven's car, as if coming from the party. Neither Brown nor the young woman said anything to the group, looked at them, or made any gestures towards them. The defendant and one companion turned around and walked back toward Riven's car. The defendant pulled a gun from his pocket, angrily shouted "fuck naps," and immediately fired multiple shots at Brown, who was still standing in the open door facing the car. Brown was shot twice in his left arm and once in his abdomen, with the shot entering from his right flank. The abdominal wound was fatal. Before Brown collapsed, he ran across the street, leaving behind one blue shoe. The defendant and his companions ran down the hill as Johnson and Jacobs ran to the opposite direction. Garrett Hughes, who lived down the hill from the location of the party, found the defendant and Bernard Gillis hiding in shrubbery at Hughes' house. Hughes testified that the boys seemed nervous. LAPD officers arrived and detained the defendant, Gillis, and Hughes, though they eventually released Hughes. Officer James Holloman testified that the defendant and Gillis were sweating profusely and had a high pulse rate. In the shrubbery, the police found a .25 caliber semi-automatic handgun with an empty magazine and 1 round chambered. The police swabbed the defendant and Gillis for gunshot residue. The defendant was positive for gunshot residue, but Gillis was not. The police recovered 5 casings and 1 fired bullet from Riven's car. Another bullet, which was not recovered, appeared to have entered the exterior of the front passenger door and lodged within the door. 4 days later, the police recovered another fired bullet in the street 4 houses down from the site of the shooting. The medical examiner recovered 2 bullets during Brown's autopsy. Ballistics testing established that all 5 casings and all 4 recovered bullets had been fired from the .25 caliber gun recovered in Hughes' yard. Johnson and Jacobs testified that they didn't belong to a gang or associate with gang members. As far as they knew, Brown, Valent, and Riven also had no gang ties. They didn't see Brown with a weapon or see a weapon in Riven's car. Inglewood Police Detective Kerry Tripp testified that that part of Baldwin Hills was not claimed by any gang, and gang shootings were rare there. Bernard Gillis was an admitted member of Neighborhood Pyru, which is a blood gang based in Inglewood. Based on information provided by other officers, the defendant was also a member of the gang. In response to a hypothetical question based upon the prosecution's evidence, Detective Tripp opined that the shooting was done for the benefit of Neighborhood Pyru. Following the trial, the jury convicted the defendant of second-degree murder, including a gun enhancement, but not the gang enhancement. The trial court sentenced the defendant to 40 years to life, consisting of 15 years to life for the second-degree murder and 25 years to life for the gun enhancement. Stinson Amir Brown was 21 years old at the time of death.